is Rosetta Wood from Daily Spark. Today on our show, we have Deborah Stewart. Deborah Stewart graduated with honors with an associate degree in early childhood education, a bachelor's degree in human services and management, and a master's degree in early childhood education. She is an avid believer in lifelong learning and does her very best to practice this through ongoing education, research, and study. Deborah has her own part-time private preschool called the Children's Studio, located in a small town in Indiana. The studio is also her private lab school. It is the classroom where she applies the skills and knowledge she has gained over the years, as well as where she observed early learning in action. Deborah's students range from ages 3 to 5 and come to her preschool 2 to 3 days a week. Deborah and her teaching staff observe the children as they play and learn and photograph their learning in action to share on her preschool blog. Today on our show, Deborah Stewart will share with you about her career as an early childhood educator, the vision she had for the Children's Studio, how she started blogging about children while teaching, her philosophy about getting children interested in learning by exploring her classroom. Hi, Deborah Stewart.
Hi.
Hi.
Deborah.
Welcome to our show. We're excited to have you on our podcast today.
Well, it's a pleasure to be here today.
Thank you. Let's begin our podcast with this question. How did you get started with your career as an early childhood professional?
Well, I started back as a professional in a child care center, probably in 1988, something like that. So it's been a while. And then just stayed with it over the years and went from different to different schools, and later went and got my associate in early childhood education, and then later went back to school until I completed my master's in early childhood education.
Oh, okay, sounds good. Now, when you were going to school, what was your vision for yourself?
Well, I don't know that I had a vision at the time. I just what I felt like was when I was first teaching, I didn't have a degree, and I was working in childcare, and we would have occasionally teachers that would come in with their degrees, and I felt like they knew the language and that I knew how to do very well with caring for children and making a fun day for them, but I didn't understand the educational language, and I really wanted to feel like I had that. So I was really excited about being able to go to college and complete that more formal aspect of what I was doing at the time. So I was very happy in what I was doing. I just wanted to have the complete package.
Okay. I take it that you do have the complete package because now you have your own preschool children's studio is the name of your school. Is that correct?
Yeah, we call it the Children's Studio. It's a school it's a very small school. It's not in my house, but it is on my property. It's in another building on my property. It is part-time and private. And it was started about 8 years ago, and the school houses up to 24 children. And they just come during the school year for a preschool program. But that the school was designed so that I could write about early childhood education. So it wasn't really to grow a school. It was to create an environment that I could study and learn even more about early childhood and then write about it.
Okay. What is your biggest challenge having the children's studio?
Oh my goodness. Time is the biggest thing because, you want to give the children the feeling of a very complete program as well as their parents. And then you have to balance that when you're doing it on your own. Not only are you getting up early, making sure everything's ready, snack is ready, your teacher, I have a couple of helper teachers, they have everything they need, and then you teach. And then when you're done, you still have to clean everything up, put it away, get ready for the next day. And so to balance that with having 3 grandchildren that are here every afternoon and also blogging and my blogging work that I'm very committed to as well means some long hours. So time is probably the hardest thing, is keeping it and then not getting worn out in the process.
Oh, you mentioned blogging. Now, how did you get into blogging while you were teaching the young children?
Well, when I was teaching, I wasn't teaching at the time. I was finishing up my master's degree when I first discovered the blogging world, and we did a lot of research, and I found some teachers that were blogging back in 2008, right around there, 7 and 8, about their classrooms. And what I saw was so inspiring. It made me want to hurry up and get right back in the classroom. And nothing really had made me want to do that for a long time. And all of a sudden, I just had this new vision, new passion. And I have to say it was coming directly from reading what these girls were doing in their classroom. And it got me excited about the potential to jump back into teaching again. But before I didn't have my school yet. So I was working at another school writing curriculum and decided to try blogging on my own. At that time, that I couldn't blog from those schools with permission to blog about what was going on in those schools because it was not mine. And so I asked my husband if I could open my own school so that I could really dive into blogging and share the things that I find very exciting and thrilling about teaching and rewarding and helpful with others, because that's what that was doing for me, and I wanted to share that forward.
Okay. Now I have 2 questions for you. First of all, the first question is, how old are your children in your school? And the second question is, how do you encourage young children to become interested in reading and learning?
All right. Well, the first part of that question, my students start at age 3, and they go anywhere between 2 to 3 years, depending on when their parents decide to take them on to kindergarten. So they are with me from ages 3 to up to 6. So the most they'll stay with me is 3 years, sometimes 2. And during that time, the number one thing that I find really captures their interest in reading is when we do a lot of reading with the children, and we pick dynamic books that we know they're very interested in, that they're going to love, that we love. We talk about those books. We keep them in the classroom all the time. We read with them as a large group. We encourage them to read independently and with us one-on-one on the lap. Lots of just reading with our students, and then bringing those books to life around the classroom. So last year we did Brown Bear, What Do You See? And we created our own very large puppets and did a huge puppet show of Brown Bear, What Do You See? And the kids just really knew the book. They were excited about the character they had made for it. So it's just really just diving in and creating an atmosphere where literacy and children's books are celebrated and a lot of fun. Are you still there?
Yes, I'm still here.
All right.
Okay. It sounds like that you do a lot of preschool readiness. Is that correct?
Well, I would say readiness in terms of we embrace young children at the age that they are. We don't try to push them to be beyond the age they are. And in that, we are naturally leading them to be ready for kindergarten. So I want to say what happens is Oftentimes I'll see teachers so focused on trying to get ready for kindergarten that they're starting to treat their students as if they're in kindergarten.
Mm-hmm.
And we make sure that we're not doing that. We spend a lot of time working on how to zip our own jackets up and wash our hands and feeling very confident and independent. And in the process, building a love for learning and checking out the environment. We're very hands-on and very play-based in this program here.
Okay. Sounds like you do a lot of self-help skills when you mention.
Absolutely. A lot of self-help skills all day long, every day. We're all about, observing the students and see what else can, when we're being asked to do something over and over, we're going to stop and say, how can we help you learn to do that yourself so you don't have to wait on me? And we work on that all the time.
Now, you sound so knowledgeable in the area of early childhood profession. How do you measure your success right now?
Well, I'm just still beginning. I feel like I'm still a beginner. And the reason why is because I just have so many things still to learn. And what I've discovered, especially being now a grandparent, at each season of life in my life as an adult, as I've been in the classroom, I have a new perspective of learning, a new perspective of what's important, a better gauge on how to teach what I really want to teach. My teaching skills, I think, oh, wow, I'm doing the best I can do, and it's not going to get any better than this. And the next year, I realize I'm even better. So it tells me that I have a lot left to learn. And so I feel like my success is always there, moment by moment, year by year, at what I know and understand. But I'm still just beginning to where there's so much I know that I still have to learn. And the older I get, the more I realize how much I actually don't know.
Mm-hmm. You seem so confident right now. Was that always the case?
Oh, no. I've always been a confident teacher in the classroom, but to talk to others about early childhood, I wouldn't say I lacked confidence. I would feel like I don't know enough to be telling you what to do or telling anyone else what to do, and I still feel that way. But what I do have is I'm passionate about what I'm doing, and I guess that comes across as confident. But really, I'm just super passionate about what's working in my classroom, what I love about it, what I see works. When I see it's working, I'm like, this is just the most amazing thing. You should hear about it. And so it's really maybe my passion more than my confidence that comes across.
What does the ideal classroom look like for a preschooler?
For a preschooler, from
Yes.
a child's perspective?
Oh, from a child's perspective?
Okay, yeah. Well, I would think the first thing is everything looks like interesting, like, wow, what is that? And they can come in and they not only get to see it, but they feel no apprehension about getting to touch it. I think part is not what it looks like, but what it feels like. It feels warm. It feels inviting. It feels interesting and engaging. There's trust. It's okay to make a mistake. My teacher's going to still like me. My teacher's not going to make me feel awkward or uncomfortable. I think it's building that trust and community. And when all of those things are there, it doesn't matter what the classroom looks like, whether you have a fancy classroom or a very simple classroom, or you have lots of toys or you only have a few toys. If trust and in a sense of you belong and this is for you and let's give it a try and let's dive in and see what happens and let's test it and let's check it out, and all of those components are there and it's exciting and you're passionate and you have grace where children are come, then I think you will have success with those children being excited about wanting to come back, wanting to come back day after day.
Your parents, how involved are they in your classroom?
Very little in my case. my parents are, they pretty much drop off in the morning, and then I don't see them again until pickup, and they come for special events. They know they can drop in any time. It's because we only have 24 students, it's a fairly small community of parents. They pretty much all know each other already before they even sometimes before I've met them. And we're so part-time that I think if I were, more full-time, it would be different for us, and I would be probably working harder at getting them very engaged in the classroom. But we're so part-time that these mommies come and they have this little short window of opportunity to run all their errands, and I let them go do that. They need their time, and they're leaving their child in a safe place with me, and they trust me, and I allow them to go do whatever they need to do. And I appreciate that they trust me to teach their child. So they're welcome to join anything we do, but they generally, they're off going to do their thing.
Okay, thank you for your information. That's valuable information. I have one last question. Do you have any requests or suggestions that you can give to our audience or to parents of preschoolers? And also, do you have any recommendations for them when searching for a preschool environment?
Well, when it comes to parents and what I would probably, my own daughter is getting ready to move away, and she's going to have to go and find a preschool for my grandchildren because they're getting ready to move this summer, which is breaking my heart, and they won't be at my own school anymore. But as I think about her and where she's getting ready to go and what she's going to need to look for, I would tell her as the same as I would tell any parent that would be seeking some suggestions from me. And one is to look in the area in which, go to where you're going to live and think about location as far as, the commitment, the drive, and the impact it has on your family, and whether or not it's really going to work for your family as a whole for you to choose the school you're choosing. And so try to think in location. And I know that sounds silly, but I find that if we add and compile stress on these people's lives, and then it ultimately affects the entire family, which ultimately affects the children and their ability to be involved and so forth. So find something in your area that you can really be a part of. And then within that area, try to find something that you feel comfortable yourself when you go. But more than that, that your child feels very comfortable, and be aware of your anxiety and not, letting that anxiety become your child's anxiety. A lot of times your child can be very happy. You're just, nervous. But when you go, then I would ask you to look for what's happening in the classroom that you can see. Are the children busy? Are they asking questions? Is there conversation, dialogue, noise, artwork laying around? Does it look safe? Our kids seem healthy and clean and well taken care of. And I'm not talking about not messy. I'm just talking about other kinds of care. Is there paint, different kinds of resources for the children to explore? Is it down low where they can get to it? Think about play, and you want to give your child opportunities for exploration and play and time to talk to friends. If you go in and it's all quiet and they're sitting at tables, that can seem like a teacher that has it all together, but it's not the kind of experience that I hopefully you'll stay long enough and you'll see more than that, because what you want is an experience where your children can really stretch outside of their comfort zone. I always tell my parents that my school I want them to feel like it's a safe place for them to make mistakes. It's a safe place for them to cry and get upset, and we're going to work through it. It's a safe place that these things are part of growing up. They're part of life. And so I want the children to come in and feel like they can be who they are, and we're going to help them and have fun with them and make it okay. And so you need to go somewhere where you feel like, hey, this teacher has all the right ideas, and she's going to really be warm and loving to me as a family and understanding, and then help my child really have fun and with engaging creative ideas. And it's a lot to ask, but that's what I would recommend you look for.
Okay, thank you. That's some valuable information. Now, if our listeners want to get in contact with you, do you have a website that they can reach you at? Do you have any books or articles that you have written where our audience can refer friends to or family members about preschool?
Sure. I write the blog Teach Preschool, and it's at teachpreschool.org. And I've been writing that blog since 2009, and so it's filled with articles that come directly from my classroom. And the idea is to help others, just to give them vision and to give them the possibilities of what can be done and what children are capable of and what we can do. So not to tell you how to teach, but how to have a vision and to see the potential as you come up with your ideas. And then I can be I wrote the book Ready for Kindergarten, and it's on Amazon, and so I wrote that book several years ago as well. And I can be reached through different social networks. Instagram is one of the easiest ways to communicate with me, or Facebook, and Twitter. I'm on all of them. Pinterest. I've been on all of them for quite some time. So my following seems really large, and it'll seem like there's no way she's going to read this. But I want you to know, behind every single one of those is me, and I do read everything that people send my way.
Thank you so much for that information, Deborah. Have a good evening.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.